My name is Kaluna Spitfire, and I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I love to play 7 Days to Die. It is one of my favorite games to play, and I love to use integrations to play the game with my chat. And I have used both Mischief Maker and WiseBot before using this integration, and I love how easy to set up this integration is. As a side note, this video is not sponsored by 7 Days to Die or the Fun Pimps. It's just my favorite game to play, and I really enjoyed using the integration and wanted others to have the information they need to decide if it's the right integration for them and their stream. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and feel free to leave comments or questions down below, and I'm happy to try my best to try and answer them. Setting up the Twitch integration for 7 Days to Die is actually one of the easiest integrations I've ever used. And I've used Mischief Maker, WiseBot for 7 Days to Die alone, and both of those are significantly harder to set up than the Twitch integration for 7 Days. So all you have to do is hit the escape button, go into your options, and go to Twitch. Here it gives you a little overview, basically, of what the integration is, and then all you have to do is click into log in Twitch, and it's going to pop up into another screen, which I'm not showing here, but basically it's just one of those permission screens that you click authorize for it to connect to Twitch. It takes a second, and you're connected. Now, sometimes this does come up with an error, and you do need to do it like a couple times, but it literally takes only a few seconds, and you're in. As you can see, I'm connected, Kaluna Spitfire right there, and we are in, and the integration is now on and active in your chat. You do not have to be live for this to be active either, so you can do a lot of testing and see how things work without even being live. So you can go ahead and see it and play with it and do whatever you need to do to get comfortable with it before you go live with your chat. Now, one thing that you do want to be aware of is that if you're playing on a server, you will need to set that up slightly differently. If you are playing on a local game, this is all you have to do. You will be able to just log into a game, click that button, and hop on and go. Anybody who joins your local game will be able to play with you the same way. So no permissions required. However, if you're playing on a server, you need to be considered an admin on there at least level 90. So you will need to give yourself permissions for doing that, and I will show you guys how to do that. Now, I use Server Blend for my 7 Days to Die servers, but that might not be everybody's jam. I prefer to use Server Blend because it can handle really big mods. It can handle lots of spawned-in zombies really well with decent ping. So I prefer to use them. There's a link in the description if you would like to get Server Blend for yourself, but this is not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just really like them. What you would do for any server that you're using, it's the same process no matter what server you use, as long as you have permissions to edit the config files. So as you can see, this is my server and I'm in the config files right now. So what you would do is you would go to the text editor of those config files, and you are going to go down, and here is where you add a user. So you'll see this information, and you are going to need your Steam ID. So you're going to go and type basically this whole thing. You can take this entire thing that I just highlighted. The one thing that you're going to change is this number needs to be your Steam ID. It doesn't matter, it needs to be the number. And if you've never done that before, it's really quite easy to do. Go into Steam, you go to your profile here, and it's going to be this URL here. Now, I have mine changed to be Kaluna Spitfire. However, if you've never changed that, it's going to be a number. And you can always change it to not be your name and then go back to changing it to be your name if you've done that before, and it will show the number instead. And that's all you would need to do, is copy that number, and you would paste it directly into here and save this. and you're good to go. Now, I have permission 0 because I want to be admin, full admin. I want full admin rights. If you want to put somebody in here, however, that is a different user, and you want them to have permissions to play and stream it, but you don't want them to have permissions of an admin, you would just make this permissions 90. Done. And that means that they're a player, they're a streamer, and they have permissions to use the integration, but they don't have permission to do anything else. So they can't ban people from your server, they can't have access to cheats, they can't have access to all that kind of stuff, which is probably what you want from most of the people who you're going to play with. So, and then you would just save and restart your server. Now, if you'd like to play with other people who are not streaming, it doesn't matter if you're on a server or if you're on a local game, whatever you are on, all they have to do isn't even this. All they have to do is join your party. So, for instance, my mod, Bebe Kenze, she joined this game before, and all she had to do was join the party, and her name appeared over here in the left-hand corner, and that means she is targetable by chat, and they can target her through your chat just as easily as they can target you, for good or for bad. So, and you can play with as many people as you can be in a party with. So, and that's very, very easy. The commands, I'll go over commands in a little bit. Very easy to just change that command to go and target a new person. One other common question that is often asked is, does it work on modded games? And the answer is yes. You can play this with mods on. You can play this with other integrations going at the same time if you want to. I've played it personally with Wisebot going at the same time. I know people who have played it with Mischief Maker going at the same time. You can do it. I tend to think that a lot of those things can be done just through the integration itself. So like some of the crazier things that you can do in Mischief Maker, if you want to and you have the know-how, you can edit the XML and you can make those spawns all happen in your integration itself. But this video is going over all the basics, not really going into all those details, but you can do that. Another common question is, does everybody in the party need to be logged into Twitch through this options menu? And no, if they're just not streaming, if they're not streaming, they do not need to do this. However, they will have this option here, and if they are playing with you and they would like to go to the bathroom, or they would like to mine in peace, or they're doing something and they just want to be left alone for 10 minutes while they do something on the server, and they don't want things spawning on them while they do it, all they have to do is go in there and they can turn off spawns onto themselves, and it will put a little symbol, I'll show you with an example in a moment, on their bar, so that the people in your chat know when they're looking over there at that person's name on the left hand side that they are not available for those to go through, and the chat commands will not go through, so the people won't lose their points, and the command itself won't even process. So if some people in your chat are like, I've put this on so-and-so and it's not working, if that has a little symbol, it means that they've turned it off so that they can do something in peace, go to the bathroom, be AFK for half a second, which is really important. As the streamer, it's easy to go AFK just by pressing pause. Done. Paused, everything's off. You can go AFK safely. You can talk to your chat if you need to. You can do whatever it is you need to do with this paused, and things aren't going to come through while you're doing it, which is nice to have. Now, the main settings that you need to look at when you're in here are all in this section. So this is a really important first thing. Once you've gotten these set, you will not need to change them after this with the first game. They shouldn't change on you. If they do, go in here and double check that things are right. So the first thing that pops up here is allow vision effects. So there are things like blur, and there's things like grayscale and things like that that do mess with the vision of the screen. Now, if you're epileptic, or if people in your chat are, you might want to turn this off. If you turn it to no, however, just letting you know that you will get slightly more damage from the zombies that are spawned because chat can't, when somebody uses the command. So the command will still be available to chat. So if they want to grayscale you, they'll type it in, it'll process, and instead of making the vision effect happen, it will actually cause more damage for each of the zombies to do to you as they go. So it just turns those off. If you would like to turn them off without having that effect, it is possible to do. I'll show you how to do that later. Actions during Blood Moon. So this is really dependent on how you play. So you can have only the things, the nice things. So cooldown only means the things that are allowed during a cooldown. So nice gifts, basically, are allowed. Be mindful there are things on the cooldown only, like boost range, which means that if you're shooting and you're shooting at like a pillar that normally your gun wouldn't do that much damage, you use like a 9mm or something, and you're shooting at zombies, that bullet can actually do damage to the pillar behind the zombie as well. So if that boost is on. So just be mindful of that. Some people prefer to have standards, like they can spawn zombies just like normal, especially if you're a running gunner, this might be ideal for you. Or you can turn them off entirely. If you don't want good, bad, nothing, you just want a normal Blood Moon because Blood Moon is crazy enough, that is able to be turned off as well. The next most important thing that you're going to be able to do is points, and I'm going to be talking about points in a little bit, so I'll go over those. Using progression. So progression is basically when it looks at your game stage and it goes up based off of your game stage. So when you're game stage 1, chat only has one negative thing to do to you. They only can spawn a normal zombie, nothing crazy, and not very many of them. As you go up in game stage, more zombies, more animals, more things, negative things will be available to them. This is a little bit more fair if you want something that is not so crazy and intense as something like Mischief Maker, where it gets really crazy and intense really fast. Progression is really nice for the casual streamer, for somebody who maybe hasn't played this game that long, or for somebody who doesn't want that much insanity. They just want their chat to be able to play with them, but they don't want that much craziness. Progression is wonderful. I tend to like the chaos, so I turn it off. So I could play with it on, and if I was playing with like a challenge mode where I wanted to play like insane level, I would probably use progression, right? Like, see, you could have challenges with your chat where how long will it take me to die, right? Like that's legit. You can use turn progression off and you'll have chaos mode. So basically day 1, if you have it off, everything bad or good is available to chat immediately. So they can send craziness your way when you still just have your starter stuff. So just be aware of that. What that does, you could also start with progression and turn it off later. So a lot of people you can come back and change this whenever you want. Now, global cooldown. So this just says how big of a cooldown do you want. So default cooldown, a short cooldown, no cooldown, or a longer cooldown. So what do you like to play with? Default, I want to say, is 3 minutes, something like that. And then longer, I think, is 10. And then shorter, I want to say, is like a minute, something like that. It's very easy to test. You can just try it out and play with it. But I could totally see some people who like the insanity, like a Mischief Maker style insanity, turn off cooldowns. That's totally viable. Action cooldown. So this is when each of the things in the list that people can spawn from, most of those things have a cooldown, so individually, so they can only spawn certain things. For example, a bear has a cooldown when you get to that level. Spawn the bear, and it takes a couple minutes before they're allowed to spawn another one. And that's what this is. You could have it at 100%, you could half it, you could quarter it, or you could turn it off. Pimp pot. So this is what everybody wins if you die. So whoever kills you wins the pimp pot. And you can have that turned on and get special points, which I'll go over points in a little bit. You can have it turned on and earned regular pimp points, or you can turn it off entirely if you don't want to play with that. If you don't want your chat's 100% goal to be to kill you every single time, turn it off if you just want them to be able to engage with you. Turn it on if you want them to attempt to murder you. Allow crate stealing. So this is if you're playing with other people. It doesn't matter if you're playing by yourself at all. So basically, if you're playing with other people, if somebody spawns a crate for you, do you want that person to be able to steal it or not? And that doesn't mean they're going to steal it from you, but depending on who you play with, but it does allow them to open the crate. If you say, no, I don't want people to be able to steal it, they won't even be allowed to open the crate. It will just simply stay there until you open it. And when you see the crates, they show up as purple icons for when they're yours and white icons when they're someone else's. So you can tell. So you can just turn that on, off, easy peasy. So points. There are two main types of points. There's pimp points, also known as PP, funny, and there is special points known as SP. And the difference, that's the number one thing people get confused about with these kinds of points, is the pimp points, the regular kind, are usable for this game only. Now that doesn't mean like it's only for this session, it's for this game. So anytime I log into this game, my chat who has earned points previously while I was playing on this same game will be able to use those points that they've earned. Now if I switched to a new game, I started over, those points would not transfer with them. So that's the big difference. And the pimp points, the regular pimp points, they stop at a level 1000 for non-subs and 2000 for subs, unless they've been given them in a special way by mods and commands. So that's where they naturally stop earning free points. You can make your game SP only if you'd like, and the way people earn SP is by killing you and getting it off of the pimp pot, potentially, if you have it set to SP, or by donating bits. So donated bits, there's no limit to SP at all because they're buying them basically. And those, as soon as they give you bits, it is automatically generated as long as you're attached to the integration when they donate. Your mods also have the ability to give bits if like they accidentally do it while you're not attached to the integration, things like that. So if there's situations that occur, you can give those bits, give those points to them. You can also set it up where you give pimp points or special points for different behaviors in chat. Maybe you want to give points to somebody who saves your life. I tend to reward my chat members who like to save my life because everybody else is trying to kill me. You can also give points to people who come in early in your chat, or maybe as a channel point redemption. So there's lots of different options for ways you can give points, and you can choose to give pimp points or special points for whatever things you want. But the special points are transferable from game to game no matter what. So they've bought those points, they've earned those points in some form or fashion, they won't lose them if they are SP. That being said, if you'd like to play with a Mischief Maker style where you want it to be bits only, very easy to do. You could turn the pimp pot on or off if you'd like that to happen still. And then you see the free points. Typically, every 10 seconds, if somebody has talked in chat, they get 1 point per 10 seconds for every 5 minutes. So they only have to talk in chat once every 5 minutes, and it can be anything said in chat, and they will earn 1 point. If they are a sub, it's automatically doubled. So it'll be 2 points. You can set it to double, and I highly recommend for smaller streamers to play on double or triple so that your chat can actually earn enough points to do things that matter. If you are a larger streamer, regularly get 20, 30 people actively engaging in chat, standard is probably fine. But play with it. It's up to you and how your playstyle is and how your chat behaves. If you have a lot of really quiet people in chat, you might need to still double it. If you'd like to play with Mischief Maker's style of bits only, turn it off. That means that they don't get free points and they have to use bits in order to do things. Completely just shut it off, done. They can participate, they just need special points to do it. Oh, side note, the pimp pot. If they murder you, they get the entire pimp pot. I'll show you mine up here. As you can see, I've got 224 special points waiting in the pimp pot for people to earn. If they kill me, they would get all of that. If they killed Bebe Kenze, my mod, and she was playing with me and her name was appearing up here, then they would get a small portion of this. If I had a ton of special points, I know in my other game I'm up to like 6,000 SP, which is, they're gonna get me soon. They're gonna want that. If they murdered her, however, it would only go up to 250 special points for getting the other person. They don't give the full amount for killing that person in game. There are a lot of commands that you're going to want to know for yourself, for your mods, and for your chat. So there are different levels of who can do what commands. And the most basic are the ones for your chat. So chat is going to want to know first #CP or #checkpoints. Both are the same, and they do the same job, and that is to check their personal points. So as you can see, I have this many pimp points, and 5,000 of them are special points. If you would like, anybody can also check the points of someone else. So if I want to check the points of my mod, just type their name in right after, and you get to see theirs. The next thing that a lot of people want to know is #GameStage, so GS will give the current game stage of the streamer. And that's important for things like knowing when bears are going to come. So getting bears comes at game stage 80. So it's good to know so that you can plan and your chat knows how close you are to such things. The one that you're going to want to know really quickly is the very first one you're going to want to do set cooldown. So if when you first start, it starts with a cooldown. So if you wanted to test out something, you're going to go log in. You don't want to sit there and wait for 5 minutes until you can do something. You're going to set cooldown and you can type however many seconds you want. If you want it to be 10 seconds, you want it to be 2 seconds. That also goes for if you want a longer cooldown because, my God, your chat just went crazy on you and you'd like a little bit longer of a break. You can totally set this to however many seconds of cooldown you want. You want it to be 2? You got it. 2. You want it to be 10 minutes? You got it. 600. There you go. And cooldown for 10 minutes has started, right? And you can absolutely do that. And that's your prerogative. And that set cooldown only works once. It isn't a permanent thing. It's not like I've set my cooldown now permanently to 10 minutes every single cooldown. Just that one did I set. So I want to turn these off now. Cooldown to 2. And that sound just means cooldown's over. Okay. Oh, I just leveled up as well. GS. All right. Oh no, cooldown commands are active, not leveled up. I thought that same sound makes it for the leveling up too. I was like, wait a second. What did I do that leveled up? Okay, so another one that's really important to know is that you want to be able to set the pimp pot sometimes. So sometimes, for example, you just want to give them a chance, like you just started the stream, you want them to have something to work for, and maybe, actually, this happens more often than not, right? Your stream dies, your game dies, you need to start a new game midstream, and your chat is disappointed because they have a lot of pin points saved in there. And you're going to go into that new game and you're going to go set pot, and you can set it to whatever it was before or set it higher. I want it to be 3,000. Done. Guess what? Pin pot is now 3,000. So you can absolutely set that. The last one so set pot, I believe that one is admin only. So whoever's an admin on the server can do it. So if you wanted your mod to be able to do it, I think you just need to make them an admin on this server. But I don't know if that one can be done by a mod. I'm thinking no. Same thing with cooldown. That one's an admin only, so I think that just means you. Thank you for that follow. In the middle of doing a video. Anyway, the last one that is going to be one that your mods can do. This is automatically set for mods to be able to do this. So be aware of it. Tell your mods how you want them to use it. But this is the one that you're going to use the most. So it is how to add points, both pimp points and special points. So you just go hashtag add PP for regular ones or SP for special points. And you're going to put that person's name and the amount of points you want to give. So say I want to add to Baby Kenzie, I want to give her 200 regular points. Done. If I wanted to give her special points instead, add SP. And the @ symbol does work, so you can add. I just don't have anybody in chat right now, so that won't work. So now I've given her special points. She's going to be so happy. If you want to remove points, that is also a possibility. And the way you do it, so say I want to take those 200 special points away from her because I gave them to her on accident, you go add, it's still an add. Sounds weird, but watch. Add SP, her name again, and this time minus. It's a negative. Done. So she goes back to what she had before. Okay? So that's how easy it is to take stuff away. If your mod makes a mistake, you can fix it. Done. Easy. No big deal. If you would like to give points to everyone in chat, now this is something you might want to do at the beginning of a stream or after a raid, or something like that. All they have to do is speak in your chat. If they have spoken in chat in the last 5 minutes, they will get these points. And you're going to do add, and you have to choose is it regular points or is it special points. So if it's regular points, it would be PP. So, and then you're going to do all, and then however many you want to give. You want to give 300, you give 300. There. All active users. So the way that the chat knows that they're an active user is they've spoken in the last 5 minutes. So that's all they have to do. So you might need to encourage everybody, hey everybody, welcome on this raid. Can you just speak in chat? And you guys will get points to play in the integration. Done. Right? So, and as soon as people have kind of done that, then your mods can go ahead and give those points. So those are the big ones that you need to know. One that you can know that it's not as often used, but it is nice to know, is set point rate. And what this does is this is how many of those points that are automatically generating. So you know how you start with either default, which is 1 point per 5 seconds, or 10 seconds, sorry. If you're regular, 2 if you're subbed, whatever. You can set it to double, triple. Now that's in there. But what if you wanted to set it to a crazy amount, 5 points per, you can do it, 5, done. You just did it. So you can set it to whoever you want. They're gonna get there really fast if you do that. It's probably unnecessarily fast, but you can totally do it. If you want to set it down. So this is the way that I see it being used the most, but this is totally up to you how you want to use it. If you want to use this command and have it, what you would want to do is, say you got a really big raid and you had it set on triple points and you don't want 200 people getting triple points because that's going to just be wild, and you would like to set it back to the regular, but you didn't want to open it up in the Twitch settings to do that. Maybe you took a break and you wanted to set this point real quick. Set it back to 1. And now it's reduced. It's a little less crazy going on when you have that many people in chat. So that's just one way that you could use it. Now, if you want to spawn on someone who is not the streamer, it is very easy to do. Their name is going to appear at the top of the game over on the left-hand corner, and you're just going to go down the list, and those are going to be the names. So whoever's the first person at the top, that's going to be person number 1. Whoever's next, person number 2, so on, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And when they go in chat to type it, they're gonna do spawn normal and space, and then they're gonna put the 1. So if they want to target the person who's at the top, they're gonna put a 1. Now, if they did this on accident and nobody is playing with you, like nobody's playing on the game with me right this second, and they put this in anyway, it's gonna spawn on the streamer automatically, just because they don't want to miss out on getting those nice spawns in there. Oh, I have just created a problem because it's nighttime. Oh goodness. Okay. Now, the other thing is that there's a lot of questions about what some of these things do. The most common question is actually about this one right here that was... Wow, I can't find it now. Grayed out. When it's grayed out, it means it's not available. So it's either on cooldown or it won't function right now. And poll is not going to function right now because there are no zombies that have been spawned by the integration that are in there right now. So I'm going to show real quick. I'm going to spawn a zombie in. Spawn. We're going to run away. And, oh, I'm still crouched. Whoopsie. And poll should now be available because there's a zombie. I just can't show you because I would have to get out of this. You're coming along with me. It'll eventually show. Don't hit me. Don't do it. We're trying to show people things. Look, poll is right there. It's available. If somebody did it, it would pull her closer to me. She's obviously close enough. So we'll take care of that problem right now. But it became available because there was a zombie from the integration to pull. So that's a big one that people often go, why did it not work? It's because it's not going to pull all the zombies from the buildings and things like that. It's only going to pull if they've been through the integration. That being said, overall, blue spawns... Oh, look at that, more follows going on. Blue spawns are going to be good things, kind things, and red things are going to be bad things. And this is commonly misconceptions because some things sound a little funky. So, for example, leech. That might sound like it's bad, but leech is actually a good thing. Leech gives you health the more you hurt zombies. Now, there is a debuff that is the opposite, anti-leech, meaning every time you hurt a zombie, you get hurt. This one's particularly dangerous, so your chat's going to love that one. Another one is stay still. Now, a lot of people think this means you have to stay still, which is true if you want health. So if you stay still, you get health when that one's played. And that's the exact opposite of keep moving, which if this one's played, if you stay still, you get hurt. If you keep moving, you don't. So explaining that to chat the first couple times might be important because sometimes they think certain things are going to happen. Now look, ragdoll, kaboom. Ragdoll makes the zombies fall down, not you fall down. The zombies near you fall down. Kaboom hurts the zombies near you with an explosion. So it looks like it's going to hurt you potentially, but it doesn't. And so because it's in blue, your chat does need to know that blue things are good, red things are bad. Things that are pretty commonly asked are what resources spawn in the supply resources. So some of the supply resources, supply utility. So those are pretty common. So let's try those out so you guys can see. So supply resource. So this is how it looks. It comes up as a purple box. These are resources, and it's randomized, but these are generally the kind of resources you're going to get. Supply utility. Looks like this. It can be lockpicks, it can be other tools, but it's always going to have repair kits and then some other tool that is helpful. So sometimes it's the bombs that go on the timed charges, those ones. Sometimes it's lockpicks, similar things. So useful tools. Also spawn. You're not dead? Oh dear. Goodbye, sir. Okay. Samo, that's another one. So supply ammo is pretty obvious. Samo is just special ammo, so it's the specialized ammo. Oh, I got a zombie coming. I hear it. Hello. We're testing out ammunition, sir. Excuse you. So this is what special ammo is. So it's either the black tipped or the red tipped ammo. So basically the same thing, just special. Just special. And then I think those are the main ones that people get confused. The rest are pretty obvious. Oh, spawn bicycle and mini bike and motorcycle 4x4. It does not spawn the actual item, it spawns the parts to make them. You need usually 2 to 3 crates of these in order to build those items. So you will need to have a workbench and stuff to use it, but overall it's pretty easy to get them. It's not too bad. So I'm trying to look. Boost melee is my favorite because if you do boost melee while you're mining, it makes mining go crazy fast. Super great for that. So if you like mining, this is the one. Energize gives you lots of energy. It makes your bar not go down. For that, jump is super fun. You get to jump really high. It also makes it so that you don't break your leg as easily. However, be careful with that. It is possible for that one to stop working mid-jump and then as you fall to break your leg, so be careful. Spoil, this one is everyone's hated one. It will destroy food and drink in your inventory. If you have it in your inventory, it will go bad, it will turn into rotten meat, and it will take some of your health, your food and your water down on your bars themselves down at the bottom, and make you hungry faster. So that's pretty annoying. So chat really loves that one, of course. The next important thing that you're going to want to know as you are doing the Twitch integration is safe zones. Where can you be safe? And the first place that you have, as you can see, you will know you're in a safe zone because it will actually say safe at the top corner here. And the reason I'm in a safe zone right now is because this is where my block is. So let's see, I placed it over here, my lane claim block. So if I pick this up, this would no longer be a safe space. If there are multiple people playing on the server, there can be multiple safe land claim blocks. So if I have one here and another person is playing with me and they have one, say, at our at another base or at a horde base potentially, they could place it. Now it is only a safe zone if they are on the server. So right now no one's on the server with me. If there was another land claim block over at the horde base, it wouldn't work until they log in. So it doesn't turn on until then. Now the other place that is a safe zone is actually all traders. So if you go into the trader, you will also see this, and it's slightly on the outside of the trader, but it is always inside the trader as well, so things can't spawn on you while you are in the trader. So as you can see, I'm already in a safe zone just being on this outside space. So keep that in mind. Kind of don't cheat it with your chat potentially. Like you could theoretically stand out here even though it's not morning yet or whatever and it's a safe zone. So just keep that in mind. Your chat probably will call you out if you tried to do something like that. But it is a safe zone in here. A common question that is asked is, what kinds of things can you spawn during cooldowns, and why are there two types of cooldowns? And so I'll go over that a little bit. So the first type of cooldown is this kind, which is also this when you first log in to the Twitch integration, it's automatically going to give you a cooldown. This is the standard length of 5 minutes. It is also going to do the same thing if you die in game, and this gives you time to go get your bag without anything bad. Now this kind of cooldown is a full cooldown. They can do nothing good, nothing bad. There is literally nothing here that they're allowed to do. However, if you wish this cooldown to be shorter, you can of course go and set cooldown to a shorter amount of time. I'm going to do that just to show you. The other type of cooldown you can do is after they've spawned a whole bunch of things on you. So if we have a whole bunch of things spawn in, this bar is going to turn red. So I'll show a couple of those so you can see. Spawn normal. As it comes on me, you can see there's a tiny little bit of red. And let's see some of the bad things that can be done to me. Spawn a cop. So we could spawn a cop real quick. Spawn cop. Let's do a couple. Well, I'll probably die. I don't really want to die in the game. Let's go. I gave myself a whole bunch of cops. Did it not go through? Oh no, because it has cooldown. I couldn't give myself several. They can't spawn that many cops. I have it turned on. See how they didn't all go through? Spawn feral. Spawn feral. Okay, it hurts us. So as you can see, this bar is filling up. When it fills up all the way to the end, that's when it's going to go on another cooldown. And I'm going to keep doing this kind of thing and show you guys what it looks like at the end when it fills up. Last one. As you and that sound tells you you are now in cooldown. And this is the kind of cooldown that happens when you have had kind of enough of zombies be spawned on you to fill up this bar. And it's a shorter cooldown. It's not the 5 minutes, it's a 3 minute. And as you can see, only the blue things are available. Now you could change this in here. And this is action cooldown, global cooldown. So do you want things default? Do you want longer? So these are where it would change. Right? So if you want things to be longer or not, you can do that. Another common question is how much space is needed to spawn stuff in? So if you are in a building or if you are in a mine, will things spawn on you? And the answer is if you are in a really tight spot, probably not until you get into a wide open spot. So I think it needs like 10 blocks to spawn stuff. So if you're in a mine, is this a mine? Not quite, but if I started to dig a mine and people started spawning things on me, the commands would go through in chat, but the spawns wouldn't happen until I came up out of the mine, and then I would get them all at once. So be careful if you see your chat starting to spawn stuff on you while you're in a mine. You're not exactly safe. It feels safe for the moment until you get someplace different. So you will notice that it will have a little pause until it is able to spawn those things in open space. But then they come all at once, so that's also bad. What if I don't like a command and I want to turn it off? Easy to do. You go in here, you're going to go to this little cogwheel. Now this cogwheel is your friend. It has so much information. Pretty much everything I've been talking about is in here. You're going to go and you're going to click through the tips. These will help you out so much. This is all the stuff I've been talking about. So if you forget anything, it is here for you to find. This also is where if you want to know when a certain thing comes in what game stage, it will tell you. 4x4 parts, for example, come in at game stage 120. Okay, does it have a cooldown? Yes. How long? Is it a good thing? How much does it cost? All of that stuff is in here. If you want to turn something off, like for example, the most commonly turned off one, spoil, you're going to go in and you're going to click it and you're going to just click disable action. It's off. It is not available. It doesn't even show up in the list. It would normally be in debuffs. It's not there right now because it's cooldown, but it wouldn't show up. What if I really couldn't stand and this is where like the visual effects, so if you turn them off on the main page, it causes that situation where you get hurt more. If you go in here this way and you turn them off, it won't hurt you more. So if you really didn't like grayscale, there you go, disable it. Now the downside of disabling it through here this way is you need to do it every time you log in to this. So every time you restart your game or relog in, you need to go through and you need to disable them again. It's not going to automatically remember that choice, so just go ahead and go through those things. Also, if someone else is streaming on the server and they have something enabled on theirs, that thing can still be spawned on you from their chat. So if you really hate demos and you never want those to be able to be spawned, you can turn off on your chat, but if someone else is streaming, you need to make sure that they turned off on theirs as well. Otherwise, it can still be sent to you. Another common question is there a Twitch extension to connect the integration on Twitch? And currently, no. Right now, one of the biggest things that people sometimes struggle with is that it does clog up chat a little bit. And eventually, that may go away in future generations of the integration. I know that they are working diligently to add things and change things and make things better and easier for streamers to use, but right now there is no extension to connect to the integration to make it easier. Currently, this is how it's set up, but there might be something in the future. And the last thing I want to do is the integration might feel too hard or too easy to certain streamers. Everybody's a different kind of player. Everybody has a different amount of experience. Like I personally have over 800 hours in this game. So to me, I like the craziness of tons of spawns, and I like to do its chaos mode and turn the progression off and give people a ton of points and let them go crazy. And so for me, that's fun. But for a streamer who either hasn't been streaming as much with integrations, or maybe hasn't been playing this game as long, or maybe you just don't want that kind of craziness in your life, there are different settings that you might want. So you may want to turn off certain things you don't like, and that is totally reasonable to do. The other thing is, in these controls, these are the settings that you're going to really want to pay attention to make sure that it is challenging enough for you. So the first thing is, when you start up your game, is the game settings challenging enough for you? So if you've been playing a while, don't play on normal, nomad, or even like go up to warrior or do insane if that's something that, do those higher levels on the game settings themselves, so to make the zombies harder to get, will make this integration significantly harder, significantly. So if you feel like the integration is too easy, simply back out of your game and bump those settings up, and you will see a difference in how difficult it is to make it through. So that's an easy setting change. The other setting change, if you think it's too easy, would be to turn progression off. Say no. Let people get things right away. You could, the nice thing is people can stop you from using your, like, do no range and can do things like that. So when you have a high enough level, like, people can do those things to you while you're fighting. So that's really hard to get through as a higher level streamer. In A20, I know that they are coming out with more challenging things that you can have to face. So there will be things added as well in A20 that will make the integration even harder for people who want those things. Turning cooldowns to be shorter is a way to make it less easy. Action cooldowns to be smaller, or even off if you want it to be easier. I mean, to be less easy, sorry, when you want it to be more challenging. So giving people more points. The more points people have to use, the faster they're going to earn them, the more things they're going to be able to spawn. So these are some ways that you can turn the integration to be more challenging for you. Now, if you would like it to be easier, the exact opposite is true. Think about your game settings. Turn your game settings down to a less difficult zombie level if you're struggling with it, or if you want it to be a little easier because you're newer at playing the game. Turn those settings down in the main game setting. Turn down the settings. So cooldown only during Blood Moon, you can turn it off, or if you want to entirely, okay? Don't play with standard on Blood Moons. Turn your points to just be standard, okay? Turn progression on so that it slows down what people can use. Have longer cooldowns. Actions, make them longer. You can double the action cooldowns so that they take longer for viewers to be able to use the same thing again. And these kinds of things will make it a little easier. So there are ways that you can adjust to make the integration feel a little bit more challenging or feel a little easier depending on your specific needs as a streamer and what you prefer to play like. I hope that has been a helpful introduction to using the Twitch integration for 7 Days to Die, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them. If you'd like to catch me live on Twitch, go to twitch.tv/KalunaSpitfire and check out my current schedule to see when I go live, or follow me on Twitter, link in the description, to see when I go live.